Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to software development with That's Flutter and Firebase. All right, this is the third class, the class 3. And we have actually discussed a couple of things in the first two videos. Okay, so please, if you have not watched those videos and done the assignments, okay, please make sure you do. Because today in this class, we are going to be doing more of exercises, like we are going to get our hands dirty, okay? So basically today we'll be writing more programs and explaining how all the things we'll be writing in the programs. We'll be explaining what makes up a program, okay? So I will be starting my Visual Studio Code, and I will go to my directory where I have my DATs, okay? So I will not be, with what I want to do today, okay, I'll just be using a single file. So I will open this single file, okay? I'll open it in Visual Studio Code. All right. So the first thing we are going to be discussing today, all right, the first thing we are going to be discussing today is comments, okay? What is a comment? All right. Now, comment in computer programming language is a way of telling the compiler, all right, not to compile the statement. Now look at it. We have a statement here. We say we are telling the compiler, compile this thing and run it. Okay, in case we are running it, okay, we say we are telling the computer to print out this thing. But when you write a comment, okay, the comment to be visible to you, to be readable, okay, but the computer will not say it. Now, you write a comment when you want to maybe make a note, okay, because most times you even forgot when you start writing plenty codes, you even forgot some of the things you wrote. So with comment, is like a reminder. It's like you're making a note, and sometimes you might not be working alone in a project. Other people will be involved. So you want to let them understand what you're writing. So we have three kinds of comments. The first one is called a single line comment. Okay, so how do you start a single line comment? Is with the /. Let me increase the let me okay. Okay, I want to increase the font of so that you can actually see this better. Should be around here. Sorry, should be. Okay. Okay. All right. If you want to increase the control, then the plus. Okay, I believe this is actually bolder now, okay? So how do you start a single line comment? We have three types of comments: single line comment, multi-line comment, and the one we call documentation comment, okay? So how do you start a single line comment? You start a single line comment with 2 /. This is single line comment. Okay, you can see the way it is written. It is not written the way this other statement is written. With this, the compiler or the computer will not run this statement. Okay, now type in anything that you want. Okay, you can anything. All right, this statement grades the word, whatever it is. Okay, with this now, you can make notes. Okay, other people can also come and see this, and it will make your program your code, it will make it on the more readable, more understandable. It will be easier for people to read your code and understand, even for you, because sometimes if you write code, you will forget, you even forget almost everything about it. If I bring out the code I wrote last year, or even early this year, or even last month, I might find it difficult to even understand it until I maybe it will take me some time, because that is how it is. Okay, so you use comments to actually remind yourself of something, make a note for other people to also see. Okay, so this is single line comment. With this, the compiler will not print this thing. If we are to run this now, if I click this run, you will not see single line statement printed out. Okay, see, we only saw this hello world. We did not see the single lines, the comments. The comments were not printed out. So comments, the computer doesn't see it. The computer doesn't read comments. Okay, it's only human beings that read comments. It's not readable by the computer. So it is a way for you to actually make note. Okay, so this is single line comment. Now, if you want a multi-line comment, how do you start it? All right, multi-line comment. Okay, now you start with a /, a star, / and a star, then you end with a star and a /. So I can come here and type anything I want to type in multiple lines. Okay, you can see it is in multiple line. Okay, it is not in one line. Okay, so that is why it is called multiple line, and this is how you write it. I think I should even reduce this a bit. All right. Okay, this is how you write multi-line comments. Okay, even if we still run this thing now, the compiler will not say it. It is not readable by the computer. Okay, so please, I have a textbook that you can read on this. Okay, that apprentice. Okay, please chat me up on WhatsApp. Like I said, my number will be available in the description. So chat me up on WhatsApp so that I can send you the book, all right, the PDF of this book. Okay, so you need it. Okay, now, so this is how to write single line comment, this is how to write multi-line comment. So let's talk about the third type of comments. Okay, it is called documentation. All right, documentation comment. With documentation comment, now let me show you what documentation comment looks like. If you take your cursor and hover over this print, what do you see? You can see some information about this, all right, about this print. But the one that is documentation comment here is the one that says prints a string representation of the object to the console. You're telling a function, don't worry, we'll talk about function later. You're telling a function, a function or a variable, you're giving them more you're giving them description for other people to also see. Now with this, now I know that this print function, all right, this print function or this print statement, whatever we might call it now, it prints a string. It prints a string, just like we're going to talk about types later. You get to understand what a string is, but this thing prints something to the console. That's what it does. So this is documentation comment. So how do you write documentation comment? Just 3 /, and you're writing a documentation comment. But you have to write it on a variable you created yourself or on a function you created yourself. So we'll be talking about variable later, but let's just maybe write a simple variable. Okay, let me say this variable is a constant. I will explain this later in why this training is going on. We are going to come to constant later. Okay, constant is a string and is my name. Okay, is my name. So constant must be initialized, so I have to initialize it. It must be initialized. So this constant is my name. Okay, so now I will have to, if I hover on this, okay, okay, let's just print because it's telling me that I need to use it. But don't worry, I will explain that later. I will explain that later, okay? We don't have any warnings again. So if I hover over this name now, it's just saying string, type, string name, type this. But if I give it a documentation and say, this is my name, all right? This is my name. I can give it something more descriptive, okay? Anything can go in here. So if I hover again, all right? If I hover again, all right, this is because this is written. Okay, let me take it outside this function and then use it. Okay. Let me take it on top. For this to basically work, it has to mostly be on is in a class or in a separate place that's not inside this function. So, and look at it. Okay, look at it now, because it wasn't inside the function, it wasn't showing then, but now it is showing now. If I take my mouse over this name, all right, you will now see other information, but later you now see this is my name. So I can put more things. I can say this is my name and I love my name. I'm just writing anything, okay? So anything can go in here. So basically you're describing, all right? You're describing this variable. You're letting people know what it is. So when somebody wants to use this variable, you're going to understand better later, okay? They will see this is my name. I love my name. Somebody has written this print function, and when I hover over it, I can see this. Okay, it helps me to understand better. So for now, all right, you get to understand better later. Okay, but for now, understand that a comment is what we use to make our code more readable and more understandable by other people. Okay, we have the single line comment, we have the multi-line comment, and we have the documentation comment. So this is it. Okay. So the next thing we are going to discuss is printing out output. Okay, I will have to delete this. Okay, I will have to delete this so that we can have space. All right, I'll have to delete so that we can have space. Okay, now let's talk about printing out output. Printing out output, we have a function here. This print function, it will take something and it will print it. If you want to print out something to the console for the user to see, you use the print function, and this is the print function. All right, we have already seen it, so I just want to explain that more here. So you can print anything here to the console. You can print anything. So if you want to print anything for the user to see, you can print my name is Paulson. All right, I click on run. Remember, there are many ways you can run this program. You can click here, run, and it prints my name is Paulson. If I also want to run this program, I can also click this play button, but it will now run it here. My name is Paulson. Okay, all right. So now this is the print function. Later will be when we'll be doing our project. That is the project we'll be doing here. We'll be doing a project on. We'll be creating something like the ATM machine. Okay, so that one you will see how to ask users for input. All right, here you're printing out to you're printing data to the user. So when we do that project, you're going to be asking users for input. So you're going to see how to do that. Okay. All right, the next thing we have here is statements. Okay. All right, let's talk about statements. What is a statement? You can call it a statement, or you can call it a command, or all right, let's go with statement. All right, let's go with statement. All right, a statement is we have two types of statements. Okay, but before then, a statement is a command, it's an instruction you're giving to the computer. Just like what we have here, print my name is Paulson is a statement. You're giving an instruction to the computer. And what does the computer do? The computer prints it on the console. All right. You can tell the computer, I want you to save my name, save this data. Okay, I want you to save this data. Let me write another statement. Another statement can be constant int number is equals to 90. You're telling the computer now, this is a statement, okay? All right, forget about this warning. This warning is actually a way of that, because that want to make sure that every variable you describe, you declare, you use it, okay? So, this is age. Let's just call this thing age. Let's call this variable age. And I say, my name is Paulson, and I am this age 90 years old. Okay. All right, we are having this. Okay, we'll talk about this later. When we talk about strings, we'll talk about this thing that just happened now. But for now, let me not bother you with that. Okay, now you see, we don't have that warning again. Okay, so I have written two statements in this my program. The first statement, I told the compiler, I told the computer to store this value 90. You know, computer works with data. All right. So I'm telling the computer, I have a data of value 90. I want you to store it in a variable, store it in the memory for me called age. And later you can now use it in this print statement. So this is a statement. A statement ends with a semicolon. So for the compiler, for that compiler that is compiling your program, remember the translation and the compiler and interpreter thing that we discussed in the first in the class 1. Okay, now the compiler, see, anything that ends, a statement ends with a semicolon. If I do not put this semicolon now, the compiler will frown at it. It says expected to find semicolon, because a semicolon is what ends a statement. Okay, so the compiler would only see this as a statement if it ends with a semicolon. Now we have two types of statement. These ones I just wrote now, they are called simple statements. Simple statements. Okay, because it's very simple, as you can see. We also have the one you can call it complex. Sorry, I have to put it in a comment. You can call it complex or block statement. These block statements, they don't end with semicolon. How does it work? All right. The statement is enclosed between this bracket. Okay. Now it has to be enclosed in this bracket. An example is this. Okay. Something like an if condition. If this is true, do this. You can see, so anything I write inside here, all right, I can put in plenty statements. I can put in plenty statements here. Okay, I can put in plenty statements here. All right, integer. I'll call it integer. I can put in plenty statements here. I can put it plenty statements here, more than one. You can see the difference here. Okay, a complex statement or a block statement starts with these curly braces. All right, it starts with these curly braces. It starts with the opening curly braces and the closing curly braces, and it can be one or more than one statement. But a simple statement is just a single line, a single instruction. Here you are combining, you're putting more than one instructions. You're putting them, they are related, so you're putting them in, you're putting them inside the curly braces. Okay, I believe that's, you understand that, but if you don't, please, I'll be available for for more explanation. Okay, all right, so a statement is just a command that you give the computer, okay? It's just a command that you give the computer. All right, and it ends with a semicolon. It can be simple or it can be complex, okay? So let's talk about expression, all right? Let's talk about expression. Let's talk about what is an expression, okay? Many other languages, the way they define an expression is that they say an expression is a combination of an operand and an operator. Although we have not discussed what an operator is, but we'll be discussing that later. So an expression is, you know, when I said constant, integer, age equal to 60. This is basically an expression, okay? This is basically an expression, okay? And the expression has operands and operators. What are the operands here? The operand here, the first operand here is age. The second operand here is 60. And what is an operator? An operator is the equal to. Now, I don't want you to get confused, although I will talk about that later, but this thing is called an assignment operator. It is not the equal to, you know, in mathematics, this is equal to, but this is called an assignment operator. We'll talk about it later. So what is an expression? An expression generally in other programming languages, the way they define operator expression is they say it is a combination of an operator and two operands, or it can even be one operand because we have operators that operate on just one operand. So we have expression is an operand, an operator, and one or two operands. Okay, so this is what it is. But in that, it is defined more. You can even say, because of the way that is created, 60 like this is an operand. It's an expression. In that, anything that has value, anything that can be evaluated, anything that has value is an operator. Sorry, it's an expression. I'm sorry about that. Anything that has value, is an expression. Okay, so I want you to have that at the back of your mind. Now let's talk about you know, we said an expression is a combination of operand and operators. Okay, so let's talk about operators. Okay, and let us start with arithmetic operators. Let's start with arithmetic operators. Okay, now, you know, this is basically almost the same as the arithmetic operators you used to know way back from secondary school. Arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators. Now let's talk about the first one is the add. All right, everybody knows this now. Okay, the add operator. Okay, the add operator. The add operator is just the normal plus. So what do you do with it? You use it to add two values. Okay, normally now you also use in mathematics, you add two values. So I can say that I can declare a variable and I say constant. I can declare a constant variable and I say constant. This is an integer and it is called sum, and the sum is 3 plus 6. You can see I am using the add operator to add two values. Okay, these 3 and 6 can come from other variables. Okay, I can declare a variable up here and say constant int. I call it 3. Okay, and I give it the value of 3. Remember, this assignment, remember we talked about assignment. All right, assignment operator is one of the operators you use in programming languages. Okay, you use it to assign, you use it to give a variable a value. So I can also come here and say constant int, call it 6, and I give it the value of 6. semicolon. Your statements must always end in semicolon. So I can now come here and say 3 plus 6. Do you understand? Okay, this is it. And I can just come here and print the sum. I can just come here and print the sum. As simple as that. All right. So if I run it, I'm going to get the sum. Of course, it is 9. All right. So that is it. This is the assignment operator. Okay, this is the add operator. All right. The second one, the next one we talk about is the minus operator. Sorry, the minus operator. All right. You can guess what it does. All right. The minus operator would does subtraction. So here we will have to do 6 minus 3 instead of 3 minus 6. And then we'll call this one, okay? And when you run this, you're going to get the difference, okay? You can call this one the difference. You can call this one the difference, okay? So when you run it, you're going to get the difference, okay? So this is the minus operator. All right, we have talked about assignment operator, which is the equal, the normal in mathematics, it is called the equal operator, but here it is called the assignment operator. We have talked about the add operator, we have talked about the minus operator. So let's talk about the multiplication operator, okay? The multiplication operator. Okay, it is simply the star. You use the star for it. So instead of doing 6 minus 3, I can just do 6 star 3, and this will be the product, right? This will be the product, all right? And the product will give you this. So basically, just do what I am doing, all right? As we go on, you get to understand better. Just do whatever I'm doing. Just be doing whatever I'm doing, okay? Watch this video over and over again so that you can understand better, okay? Now, the next operator we'll talk about is the division operator, okay? The division operator, of which it is just the, this. All right, okay. We'll talk about this later, okay? So the division operator returns, instead of returning an integer, it returns a double. Don't worry, we'll talk about types later, okay? So don't bother about that for now. So here I'm saying 6 divided by 3, and then if I run it, I will get, of course, 2.0. Now this is a decimal. In that, we call it double. Don't worry, we'll talk about this in detail later. We also have the modulus operator. Modulus. Now, you know, sorry, the modulus operator, okay? It is the percentage key, the percentage key on your keyboard, all right? The modulus, you know, when you divide something, sometimes you get a remainder, all right? 6 divided by 3, the remainder, it will give you 2, and the remainder will be what? Will be 0. But 6 divided by 4, all right, it will give you something different, all right? It will give you something different. If we run this 6 divided by 4, it's not going to, it's going to give us the value, but it will not give us the remainder. So if you want to get the remainder of this, you use the modulus operator, and when we run this, you're now going to get 2, because 6 divided by 4 will give you 1, remainder 2. But when you go and use 6 divided like this, it will just give you 1.5. Okay, so if you do 6 divided by 4, it will not give you it's supposed to give you 1, and the remainder will be 2, right? But in programming languages, and especially in that, it will give you the decimal. It will round it off for you 1.5. If you want to get the actual value for it, what you will do is that before this forward backslash, you would have to put this operator, Let's change this thing back. So with this now, okay, look for this. I don't know where you can get it. For me, it is top right, below the escape key. For me, that is where it is. So shift and you click that, you type that, okay? So find wherever you can see this on your keyboard, all right? So when I do now 6 and use this operator, I will now get 1 instead of getting 1.5. You can see I'm getting 1 because that is what it's supposed to be. This one will give me the actual value, to not round it off for me or give me the remainder. If I want to get the remainder of this, I will use the modulus operator and I will get 2. Okay, practice this, okay? Practice this modulus, practice the division, and practice this other one. See the difference so that you can really understand that, okay? Now, there's something we call order of operation, all right? Now, the thing is, you remember board mass, okay? You remember board mass. If you have an expression like this, let me take all these things out, okay? If you have an expression like this, let's say I have this value, constant int, let me call it value. And I have 2 times 5 minus 5 divided by 4 plus 7. Which other operator should I use here? Okay. Now, okay, let me make this thing double. Okay. Now, if I'm to print this now, what do you think will be the value? What do you think will really be the, what do you think will be the answer to this? Okay, what do you think will be the answer? Is this thing going to start from 2 times 5? Then after 2 times 5, it will now do minus 5. Then after 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 divided by 4 is 1 point something. The 1 point something plus 7. Is that how it's going to work? Now remember board mass in mathematics, okay? It works exactly like board mass. You will be surprised. This will go, let's run it. This is what we are going to get. 15.75. How does it work? Remember board mass. Multiplication will go first. Division will come before plus addition and subtraction. Remember board mass. But remember board mass, okay? Remember board mass. Board mass in mathematics. Remember board mass, okay? This is bracket goes first. What's the again? I can't even remember again. Off. Yes, off. If you have off in your equation, it will go next. Division goes after that. Multiplication goes, addition goes before subtraction. So here, if you do not understand, it will be difficult for you. There's something we call order of precedence, order of operation. Order of operation in that, okay? Multiplication, and division, they go before the subtraction, and multiplication and division goes before subtraction and addition. So what would this one will be evaluated first. So this will be 10, all right? Then this will be 5 divided by 4. They will be evaluated first. After that, the product of this will not be subtracted from this. This will be subtracted from this. Then we'll not add the 7. So, but how do we do this? To avoid this complication, okay, use brackets. If you want this one to go first, just use brackets, okay? Use brackets. Let's say, however you want it, use brackets. So which one do you want to go first? Which of the operation do you want to go first? use brackets, okay? And in the book I'm going to give you, you're going to read more on this order of precedence and order of operation, okay? So, but remember, multiplication and division have higher priority than most the operators, all right? Some operators have higher priority than other operators. So multiplication and division has higher priority than addition and subtraction. So multiplication and division will be done first. So, but multiplication and division, they have the same priority. So whenever there is multiplication and division in the same statement, it will now go from left to right. It will not be evaluated from left to right, okay? So if you have something like this, 2 times 5 divided by 5, all right? Now you can see that here we have multiplication and we have division. Both of them have the same priority, all right? So how would it now work? The evaluation will now start from left. 2 times 5, which will be 10, divided by 5, which will now give you 2. So let's run this and see what we get. You see, it gives you 2.0, which is 2. But if you now want this 5 divided by 5, the division to go first, put them in a bracket like this. So 5 divided by 5 will give you what? 1. 2 times 1 will not give you 2. Although there is the difference is not much, but you can see. But let's change this. Let's make it 2 times, let's do 2 times 10. All right. Now, here we're doing 10 divided by 5 first because it is in brackets, so it will be evaluated first. Then it will now multiply by 2. So that means we are going to get what? We are going to get 10. Oh, sorry, 2, because 10 divided by 5 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So if we are to remove this and run without the bracket, multiplication will go first. 2 times 10 will be 20. 20 divided by 5. It's still going to give us 4. Okay, so, but you understand what I'm saying right now. So that is it. Okay, all right. So the next thing we are going to talk about, okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is what we call data. Let's talk about working with data. You know, computer works with data. And when we talk about working with data, we have to talk about naming our data. Now, the thing is this, all right? When you give a computer a value to work with, a data to work with, the computer has to store it in memory because the program will be reading the data from memory. So the computer will have to store it in memory. Now, let's make a very simple example here. Let's still continue with this, our constant value, all right? And I'm giving it a value of 3. You see, I am actually storing data. The data I want to work with, the value is 3. So I'm storing this 3 in the memory. And this value is like a name, it's like an address, the name of an address in memory. So I am storing this value in memory. So this is called a variable. This value now, it is a variable, okay? It's called a variable, all right? So what is a variable? A variable is just the name you're giving, you know, like the I don't know if this will confuse you. Memory have addresses, okay? The computer memory have addresses, just like your house have an address. When we come to your street, in your street, every house have their address. So if I want to find you now, you're going to give me your house address and I will use your house address to find you. So this is the same thing, all right? Or the post office, you know, they have their, every letter that comes have a box where it goes into, and it's like the same thing here. I am storing 3 in a particular place, and I'm giving that particular address, I'm giving it a name, and I call it, I can call it my number. I can call it anything, and I'm telling the computer, store this value in this address for me and give it this name. So when I now say print, I now give it the name of the variable. So what the computer will do is that the computer will now go look for the address, the computer memory that has this address. and the computer will not print it. For now, don't bother how the computer does it. But right now, you're storing a value in a variable that the computer can actually use later to do whatever they want to do. So that's variable. Now, every variable must have a type. When it comes to that is a type safety language. It is statically typed. Every variable must have a data type. You know, we are going to talk about data types later, okay? Now, but the thing is this, every data has a type, all right? 3, the data type is int, it's an integer, all right? Your name, person, it is a string. It is written in characters, okay, letters, so it's a string, okay? We'll have other data types that we'll talk about later, but every variable must have a type. For now, let us keep working with int and maybe something like string, all right? So every variable must have a type. Every variable must have a type. So I'm giving my name now. I'm storing my name somewhere in the memory, and I'm giving it this name so that it will be easier for me to